Curie actions in Malta. In order to have a smooth proceeding, can I please ask you to mute your microphones and make sure that they remain muted for the whole duration of the webinar. Today, myself and my colleague Tamara will give you an overview of the open calls of Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions and Swafs open calls. We are based at the Malta Council for Science and Technology, which hosts all Horizon 2020 national contact points in Malta, and we can assist the local researchers with any Horizon 2020 queries. As for our foreign participants today, we can assist you in finding Maltese partners and collaborators for your future projects. We'll start the webinar with information about two of the MSCA actions, namely RISE and IF. And during the second part of the webinar, Tamara will provide you with information about the Swafs open calls and topics. At the end of the webinar, there will be a question and answer session, and you may use the chat box to place your questions at any time as from now on until the end. We'll make sure to reply to your questions at the end of the session. So now I will proceed with the MSCA presentation. There is a technical issue. Sorry about that. So MSCA is part of the Excellent Science pillar of the Horizon 2020 program. As you may know, the program has three main pillars: excellent science, industrial leadership, and societal challenges, as well as horizontal actions where the Swafs programs falls in. You may see on the screen all thematic areas that are included in the three main pillars. The MSCA has five main actions, four of which are included in the slide. The fifth one is the night action, also known as Science in the City event that happens at the end, the last Friday at the end of September in Malta. The same event also happens in many European cities on exactly the same day. Today, I will give you an overview of the individual fellowship and the research and innovation staff exchanges action. Before I do that, I would like to highlight the key features of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. So all actions are completely bottom-up, and any research idea from any field can be submitted. The program involves mobility, so researchers need to move from one country to another. It is also important to highlight that successful projects include international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary approach. The program pays particular attention to gender aspects, both in the research team and also in the actual research projects. The MSCA budget for the period between 2014 and 2020, the 7-year period of the Horizon 2020 program, is of 6.2 billion euros. And it provides attractive funding packages for the successful researchers. MSCA will also continue in Horizon Europe. There might be some changes in the actions, but the important message for now is that all the actions will continue in Horizon Europe. I will now give you an overview of the individual fellowship action. The action is a type of a postdoc, and there is no need of a consortium. It is suitable for experienced researchers, those researchers that have PhD degree or at least 4 years full-time research experience. The researchers can be of any nationality and any age. He or she needs to agree together with the supervisor and the host entity on an individual research project that is going to be implemented. The individual researcher will be provided with a contract from the host entity and full rights as the rest of the staff from the same entity. In order for the researcher to be eligible, he or she needs to pay attention to the mobility rule. The general mobility rule is that the researcher should not have lived or worked or resided in the country where he or she is applying, in this case Malta, for more than 12 months in the last 3 years of the call deadline. The duration of the projects is usually between 12 and 24 months. However, for one particular action, for the Global Fellowship, it goes up to 36 months. The researchers may decide to include partner organizations in order to implement secondments. Secondments can take place between 3 and 6 months and can take place in the same country or in another country. It is important to highlight that one researcher can apply only with one proposal. However, the supervisors may decide to apply with many researchers. The proposal is the technical part of the proposal, the part B, is of maximum 10 pages and is based on excellence, impact, and implementation. In this presentation, I have included the link to the call. The call is going to be opened just next week on 8 April, and you will receive these presentations later on so that you can find the link ready for your comfort. So there are different types of individual fellowships, and here on the slide you can see all of them. So the standard European fellowship is the most popular one, and is for researchers moving between European countries or researchers that are coming to Europe. The Career Restart panel supports individuals to resume research in Europe after a career break. To qualify for the Career Restart panel, researchers must not have been active in research for a continuous period of at least 12 months within the 18 months immediately prior the call deadline. The reintegration panel supports European researchers to return to Europe from a third country, this including the country of origin of the researcher. The Society and Enterprise panel is suitable for those researchers that are willing to apply with a host entity that is from the non-academic sector. This can be an SME, industry, foundation, non-governmental organization, public entity, any entity that is non-academic. And the Global Fellowship is suitable for those those European researchers willing to perform their research project outside of Europe or outside of the associated countries in a third country. This can be America or any other third country. The call deadline is 9 September this year. Usually this type of calls are open only once a year with only one deadline per year. Now I will give you a brief overview of the RISE section. So RISE stands for Research and Innovation Staff Exchange. It aims to stimulate transfer of knowledge. Projects are built on joint research and innovation actions. Here we have a consortium, usually a mixed consortium of partners that are coming from the academic and non-academic sector. And the projects are implemented through secondments. The secondments can take place between 1 and 12 months per individual, and this can be a single or multiple secondment. The project maximum size is 540 person months. So here we work with unit cost. In the slides following, I'm going to explain you what are the unit costs, but 1 person month is 1 unit. And the maximum duration of the project is up to 4 years. The minimum requirement here is to have at least 3 entities from 3 different countries, from which at least 2 are coming from EU member states or associated countries. The eligible staff is any staff that is actively engaged in or linked to research innovation activities for at least 1 month prior the first secondment. And the types of staff that is eligible to participate is basically early stage researchers, experienced researchers, managerial staff, administrative and technical staff as well. However, they have to be involved in R&I activities. Please pay attention to this slide because this provides the eligibility of the secondments that one can include. So basically, an academic entity can send staff to non-academic entity in Europe or to a third country. However, an academic entity from a member state or associated country cannot send staff to another academic entity in Europe. So the same applies for the non-academic organization. The non-academic organization in Europe can send staff to an academic organization in Europe, but not to non-academic organization, but in Europe, and also can send staff to any type of entity in a third country. As for the third countries participating in the projects, they can send staff to both academic and non-academic sectors, but they cannot send staff to another third country. So the submission is an electronic submission. It consists of the part A, which is the administrative part, and part B, the technical part of the proposal. And the technical part of the proposal is maximum 30 pages and is based on excellence, impact, and implementation. Here again, I have included the link to the open call on the funding and tenders portal. The deadline is on the 28th April this month. Here is a bit more information about the unit costs. So here we have the individual fellowship living allowance, which is basically the salary, and we need to apply the country coefficient here, which for Malta is 84.4% of the amount that you see on the screen. The researchers will also receive a mobility allowance, and they will receive also family allowance if they have a family dependent on them, if they're married or if they have children under 18. There are also institutional costs included. The 800 euros is for the research and training needs of the researcher, and 650 euros for management costs of the entity. The RAI section does not provide salary. However, the staff that is going to be seconded needs to continue to receive the salary from the entity, from the sending entity, but they will receive a top-up allowance of 2,100 euros. This here, we do not apply the country coefficient. Is a fixed rate for all the countries. And there is also, again, the institutional costs that will go to the institution. With the 2,100 euros, the researcher needs to cover the travel and accommodation expenses. Here I included some support documents. There is the RISE and also the individual fellowship guides of applicants. These are very useful documents, and I really advise you to go through them. The RISE guide for applicant is already published, and I also have included the link in that presentation. You will receive it after. The individual fellowship guide for applicants will be published very shortly once the call is open next week. One can also refer to the MSCA work program and also to the MSCA website. And I really recommend you to also go to the Net4 Mobility Plus website, which has a lot of interesting and useful information for the applicants, including videos, guides, tips, and tricks, how to write a successful projects, and so on. So it is a very useful and very interesting website. Now I'm providing you with my contact details. I'm also the national contact point for European Research Council and Future Emerging Technologies in Malta. You can see my email address. You can already place your questions on the chat box, and I will try to reply towards the end of the session. So please make use of the chat box. In case we don't have enough time, I'll make sure to refer to you later on. So now I would like to give the floor to my colleague Tamara. She will continue with her presentation on Swafs open calls.
Good morning, I'm Tamara, National Contact Point for Science with and for Society, Climate Action and Europe in a Changing World. I would like to welcome you to the second part of the webinar, which is about the last open calls on Science with and for Society. Basically, as a brief overview, I'm going to provide you with an introduction to Science with and for Society, also called Swafs, the eligibility and other general information on the calls and the Horizon 2020, the current Swafs open calls. I'll provide you with some resources for help, and as well as my colleague Lily said, at the end we'll have a Q&A session where you can place your questions in the chat box. Swafs it aims to build effective cooperation between science and society. The Swafs program covers the following types of calls, such as supporting research organizations' gender equality plans, exploring and supporting citizen science, examining the role of science communication, supporting researchers with refugee background, developing methods for teaching ethics and research integrity. The Swafs dimensions are underpinned by RRI, Responsible Research and Innovation. There are 5 dimensions, which are ethics, science education, open science, public engagement, gender, and they are all underpinned by governance. RRI is an inclusive approach. It implies that societal actors should work together to better align both the process in research and innovation and its outcomes with the values and needs of society. We'll start by going into a bit the ethics. What is ethics? It's taking into account the ethical dimension. It is a cross-cutting issue. All of the activities carried out under Horizon 2020 must comply with ethical issues. However, Swafs does focus more on ethics. One can find more info as well on the portal about ethical dimension. Second is science education. We need it in order to promote formal and informal science education, making scientific careers more attractive to young people, improve science and technology literacy, universities, higher education establishments, R&I funding organizations, scientific museums, professors, teachers, and others are all encouraged to participate in this type of dimension. And open science, it is easier, we need it because it is easier to access scientific results. It is an approach to research that is collaborative, transparent, and accessible. Open access and citizen science are key components in this dimension. Public engagement. It's needed in order to engage society more in research and innovation activities. It's about co-creating the future with citizens and civil society organizations and bringing together different actors which are not normally involved in matters of science and technology. Gender, it is in order to ensure gender equality in both the research process and research content. In Swafs, gender pursues 3 objectives. The first is to achieve gender equality in scientific careers, achieve gender balance in decision-making, and the integration of the gender dimension into the content of research and innovation. These dimensions are important because each time you decide to apply for a proposal, you have to kind of check the issues in the description of the call. And whenever you will open a call on the funding contenders portal, you will, for the sake of the example I chose, open schooling and collaboration on science education. It's a current open call. If you scroll down on the funding contenders portal, you will see a topic description and you will click on show more. This will direct you to the topic description. It's split into specific challenge, scope, and the impact. And underneath there, you will see the cross-cutting activities. There is gender and RRI. So it's very important that you include these elements into your proposal. The eligibility criteria, as a general rule, Horizon 2020 is open to the world, and participants must be part of a consortium composed of at least 3 legal entities, each established in different member states or associated countries, and at least 1 in a member state. Just a brief description on the funding grades. It is essential to know the 3 different types of funding grades before we start looking into the calls, because I will mention each type of action each call has. So there are 3 types of actions which determine your funding grades: innovation action, research and innovation action, and coordination and support action. The innovation action, it's an an action primarily consisting of activities directly aiming at producing plans and arrangements or designs for new or improved products, processes, or services. For this purpose, they may include prototyping, testing, piloting, large-scale product validation, and market replication. Profit legal entities are 70% funded, whilst non-profit legal entities are 100% funded. These type of actions are more market-based and there are no innovations in Swafs 2020. Swafs is more targeted towards bridging the gap between science and society and those dimensions I mentioned previously. So the next two actions are the most common found in Horizon 2020 Swafs area for the last calls. So research and innovation actions, these are activities aiming to establish new knowledge or explore the feasibility of new or improved technology, product, service, solution. For this purpose, they may include basic and applied research, technology development and integration, testing, and projects may contain closely connected but limited demonstration or pilot activities. The profit-making legal entities and non-profit legal entities are 100% funded, and this type of action is common in the last Swafs calls, which I'll present. The last one is coordination and support action. It's an action which it accompanies measures such as standardization, dissemination, awareness raising, communication, networking, coordination or support of services, policy dialogues, mutual learning exercises and studies. Profit-making legal entities and non-profit-making legal entities are 100% funded. This is most common in the last Swafs calls. So, there are a total of 14 topics. There are 2 two-stage topics and 12 one-stage topics. The one-stage topics, the single-stage topics, they close on the 23rd of April 2020, and the second stage deadline is 17th November 2020. The overall indicative budget is 63.2 million euros. And this is the last round of Swafs. So there won't be a Swafs program in Horizon Europe, so we encourage you to apply for these last calls. Now I will go over the current open calls. Open schooling and collaboration on science education. It's a CSA. It's a 2-stage, therefore there are 2 deadlines. The budget is of 1.5 million euro, and it is to expand opportunities for science learning in formal and non-formal settings. The second one, this is research, innovation, needs and skills training in PhD programs. It's a CSA action again. It's a single stage, and the budget is of 0.2 to 0.3 million. It's a mini budget. It's the need for European universities to integrate new or existing open science and entrepreneurship skills courses into PhD program. This is a mini budget for the reason being that it is beyond the scope of the call to create a new program. An existing program has to be set in place and integrate new or existing open science and entrepreneurship skill courses into PhD programs. The aim at the end of the day is to equip PhD students with entrepreneurial skills. Supporting research organizations to implement gender equality plans. It's a CSA again, a single stage. The budget is 2.5 to 3 million. And the call aims for sustainable cultural and institutional change by adapting gender equality plans by adhering to the 3 Swafs gender objectives, which I mentioned previously. I'll mention them again, to achieve gender equality in scientific careers, gender balance in decision-making, and integration of the gender dimension into the content of research and innovation. Supporting the development of territorial responsible research and innovation, another CSA, a single stage, and the budget is 2 million. This type of call appeared last year as well. The Commission is looking to build self-sustainable research and innovation ecosystems. Successful projects should have local and regional authorities as active partners, and consortia should involve all kinds of citizens. They really want to avoid the duplication of smart specialization platforms, and consider previous findings as well. Therefore, it is suggested that you go on the Cordis website in order to view previous projects. Taking stock and re-examining the role of science communication. It's a research and innovation action with a single stage, and the budget is 1.2 million. And basically, science communication is changing due to digitization. Information is available online, however, we want the scientific information to be correct. There is a current issue of the editorial oversight and fact-checking established in the traditional media. So the Commission is looking for a multidisciplinary team which should be established in order to explore well-defined communication strategies. So journalists, science communicators, enterprises, citizens, and other actors are encouraged to participate in this type of call. Grounding RRI in society with a focus on citizen science. It is a CSA, a single stage with a budget of 1.5 million. It is a new topic for 2020. It will focus on citizen science, which is looking for long-lasting change and making better connection with citizens. Ideally, new and old partners should come together for this type of call. Science education outside the classroom. It's an RIA. It's a two-stage, therefore 2 deadlines. It's a budget of between 1.3 and 1.7 million. And it's another new topic for 2020. All funded projects should have a platform on Scientix. This is a platform where it promotes and supports Europe-wide collaboration amongst STEM. Teachers, education researchers, policymakers, and other STEM education professionals use it. It organizes trainings and workshops as well. So it's good to have a look at it. I listed the link down below. Gender-based violence, including sexual harassment in research organizations and university. It's an RIA. It's a single stage, and the budget is of between 2.8 to 3.2 million. We need a knowledge of the state of play and who is the most at risk of gender-based violence. Data should be collected from at least 16 member states, but there is no need to have partners from all these countries. However, the data should be applicable to at least 16 member states. Innovators of the future, bridging the gender gap. It's a CSA. It's a single stage and a budget of 1.5 million. Basically, this call is needed to correct the underrepresentation of females in the innovation network. Hands-on citizen science and frugal innovation. It's a single stage, and the budget is of 1.8 million to 2 million. It is a new topic in 2020, including 2 subtopics, citizen science and frugal innovation. Frugal innovation are activities that have to minimize cost and complexity and are aimed at low-income population groups in any part of the world that are scalable, durable and environmentally sustainable, but often using state-of-the-art technologies and know-how. International cooperation is also encouraged, and you don't have to address both subtopics in the proposal. You can read further in the annex in the portal to address the activities of science and frugal innovation. The ethics of organoids, it's an RIA, it's a single stage, and it's a budget of 3 million. Organoids are also a source of complex ethical issues, and the Commission decided that there should be a common framework and the best practice code of conduct for the ethics of organoids. A bottom-up approach towards building the code is open for a bottom-up approach. So, the ethics of technology with high socioeconomic impact. It's a CSA, a single stage, and it's a budget of 4 million. The European Commission left it open for the applicants to decide what are the technologies of high socioeconomic impact. And the work aims at complementing the work started in the context of Swafs 18-16 about the Siena project. So a similar analysis should be done, and I left the link of the Siena project in the presentation. Responsible open science, and ethics and integrity perspective. It's a CSA. It's a one stage, and the budget is of 2.5 million. It's focusing on how we can share best practices. The action should examine and map the ethical, legal, and social implication challenges, and as well as the research integrity issue to open sciences, and consequently identify and analyze the necessary elements to support the integration of research ethics and integrity as structural component of open science. A bottom-up approach to build Swafs knowledge base. This is the last call. It's an RIA. It's a single stage. The budget is of 0.8 to 1 million. And the objective of the Swafs part of Horizon 2020 is to build effective cooperation between science and society. As well, this is a bottom-up approach, and therefore it is a challenge to the applicants to propose innovative research and innovation actions that are needed to help meet Swafs objectives. How can we help? We can help you throughout the whole process of applying for a Horizon 2020 proposal, from proposal writing, checking, to the administrative checking part. We can help you, and even when you get funded, we do provide, we have our legal and financial national contact points as well. So, and we help with other queries. We also help in partner searches. So if we encourage you, if you have any partners in mind and you would like to involve as well Maltese partners, we can help you up in teaming you up with these Maltese partners as well. We also organize one-to-one meetings and other activities such as proposal writing workshops, providing the COVID crisis ends, we can start doing some workshops again. And some other resources for help. We have the funding and tender opportunities portal as well. You can check it out. We have the NCP Swafs network, which is SysNet. There are some publications as well there, which can help you in your proposal. There's Horizon 2020 homepage, our website, and if you would like to keep updated with our Facebook or Twitter, we are Horizon 2020 Malta. You can see the latest updates that we provide this updated page, and we also share webinars and everything there. You have my email, tamara.b.chkempi@gov.mt, just in case you have further queries, and those below are my areas for Horizon 2020. Now we will proceed to Q&A. If you have any questions, me and will answer them.
I have received one question, and it is relation if the presentations will be available. Yes, the presentations will be available. We'll be sending them together with the recording of this session today by email. You will be receiving this email in the coming days. For now, I don't see any more questions, but please, if you do have any questions, now is the time. We do have enough available time, and we're here and ready to provide you with the right answers. Maybe we were clear enough.
I think that's a good sign that we provided clear information. But we did leave our emails just in case maybe you want to answer a question or want to ask a question later. I think that's it from our end.
Okay, let's maybe just wait.
Yes.
More seconds if somebody has a question and is typing it now.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, in that case, we would like to thank all the participants for joining us in this.
There is a question. What information? Just a second, let me read it. Because I scrolled. What information should be included in the first stage proposal? It's a 10-page document. It's a 10-page proposal. So actually, you should be more to the point. Include your partners. Check. So,
Basically,
it's just a 10-pager.
In the 10-page, one should provide the brief overview of the research project. The partners have to be also mentioned, however, they might be changed at a later stage during the second submission, in the second deadline. But basically, in the 10-pager, one should give a good overview of what the project is going to be about. And it has to be a very strong proposal because the reason being is that the Commission, in order to give you the thumbs to go to the second stage, one has to have a very good proposal and work hard. Also, O2 is only 10 pages proposal here. And it might seem easy, but it's not so easy to put the relevant and most important information in a 10-page document.
The question, if an organization is not a fully research organization, but has a unit dedicated for research, will it still qualify as long as it's a legal entity? It does qualify. So any type of organization can participate as long as it's legally established.
Absolutely, yes, that's correct. And one needs to have a peak number. This peak number, basically, it is the key of the entity in order to participate in all Horizon 2020 calls. In order to register and receive this peak number, one needs to go to the Funding and Tenders portal of the Commission. We can provide you with the link. However, if you just type in Google a Funding and Tenders portal, it will be the website that will first appear. And you register the entity by providing certain information and documents that are requested by the Commission. This is only one-time registration, and you will receive this 9-digit code. After the verification of this 9-digit code, every entity is eligible to apply for funding.
There's another question. What is the success rate in Swafs calls? Well, it's every call it's different. However, there are calls which have around, for example, 2% success rate, such as open school and collaboration in science education. There are some calls which have a higher success rate. I've seen calls which have around 20% success rate. By heart, I don't remember which one, but I can tell you in a minute. It's different. Every call is different. Yes, the supporting the development of territorial responsible research and innovation, there was a success rate of 20% in 2019. Oh. So they are all different. They can go from 3 to 20 to 13. Another question. Is it possible to see somewhere the information on the previously approved Swafs projects? Yes, there is the Cordis website. And you can see all types of projects, not just Swafs, so 2020 projects. You can see the information that's publicly available there. Sometimes you can see maybe their website as well. They might have a website if you want to go in further detail. So if you would like, yes, we have our mailing list and our Facebook page as well. We do sometimes post sometimes every month we post the project of the month, so you can see as well there the projects that were previously funded. Cordis, it's a website vast, and you can search anything you want and it will come up. So I suggest you have a look at that. It is listed in the presentation, so when we will forward you the presentation, you will have a direct link access to it.
And also to add to that, there is also the Horizon 2020 dashboard. It's also available on the Funding and Tenders portal, And on this dashboard, one can see all the successful Horizon 2020 projects for all the areas. One can also search by country as well, not only by type of funding, fund detection. Just to remind you, our Facebook page is Horizon 2020 Malta. We keep updating it regularly, so I will advise you to like our page and to even share our posts when relevant for you and for your networks. And like Tamara said, you can also register for our mailing list. Due to the GDPR restrictions, we use that mailing list to communicate with our research networks, and we regularly send updates related to the open calls or events. So we highly advise you to register to our mailing list through the mcst.gov.mt website.
It seems that there are no more questions. Answers to every question, yes.
I did not receive any other questions neither, so I think we can close this session. Thank you very much for all the participants.
You're very welcome to, yeah.
We hope that you enjoyed that session, and we will be looking forward to receive your questions, or if you just want to stay in touch with us also through our emails. We'll be organizing other webinars, and if you register on our mailing list, you will be receiving more information in the coming weeks. Thank you very much, and have a good
day. Very much, yes. Bye, and thanks for joining us.